Lovies. I am so excited to talk to you guys today. Like, what's up? Welcome to Bible study. Welcome to Christian Perspective. Like, I'm so pumped. I'm so excited. You guys know the drill. First of all, you're amazing, fantastic, brilliant, resilient. You're fearfully and wonderfully made. You're absolutely incredible. And you were created to be fearless. Like, how savage is that? Like, that's so cool, you know? And nobody ever in the entire world, nobody, no matter how important they are, no matter who they are or what they do, they can never change that. They can never change how amazing you are. Even you can't change how amazing you are. Like, you can't change the fact that you were created wonderfully. Even your thoughts, like, you're awesome. You just are, okay? You have everything on the inside of you to be awesome. So I hope you guys are having a great day. Like, how are you guys today? Today we're doing Bible study in the car. Mainly because there's like these little bugs outside. Now I know I have the window cracked if you can see it, but there's like these little bugs outside and they're just small. They're like white little bugs and they're really, really annoying. So we're just going to do it in here. They're not coming in. So that's good. I've been doing a study of Psalms for a while. So since I finished Psalms, I started on Proverbs. And I was thinking that we could do Proverbs 3 together. Like, I was thinking that we could study Proverbs 3. Like, I'm super pumped about it. So today, I have two Bibles. I have this NIV Bible that I got from Amazon. I love it. It's like a note-taking Bible. I know like some people, the NIV has a bit of controversy, but I like this particular Bible because the stuff that is not in the NIV scripture, it always notes on the bottom and it like finishes whatever it did not include here. I really like the fact that there's like a lot of places to take notes. Of course, I did the highlighting. It doesn't come pre-highlighted. So the second Bible that I have is this one. It's the King James Bible. And I had this since I was a teenager. I've had this Bible for a really long time. It has like little Q&As and I did that. But it has like little letters and like conversation pieces and just like ideas. You know, it's like a bunch of fun stuff. I got it from the Christian bookstore, I believe. And I have my notes. I literally just bought this from Target. So I only have one note on here, and it happens to be Proverbs 3 because I just finished studying it. So that's what we're studying with today. So let's dig in. So I'm going to be reading out of the NIV. But I highly recommend studying the King James Version first because, oh honey, it's like, it really goes into depth of what the original scripture said. But I'll read out of the NIV for now because it's easier to understand. That's literally it. So here we go. Proverbs 3, 1 and 2. My son, do not forget my teaching, but keep my commands in your heart, for they will prolong your life many years and bring you peace and prosperity. So what I wrote in my notes was, with wisdom, the right decisions will be made through application and self-control because it is in your heart. So when you learn wisdom, you don't want to just go into one ear and come out the other. You want to inhale the wisdom that you're obtaining. You want to be educated and smart about it, but be wise about it so that you know how to apply it. So you want to master self-control because emotional decisions are not smart decisions. They're decisions that's led on emotion. So they have no wisdom. They have no thought. So in my notes, I kind of related the fact that, of course, the fruit of the Spirit is self-control. But in order for you to apply wisdom, you need self-control. And I put it has to be in your heart, which your heart means memory. It has to be respected by your values. It has to be inside of you. When I believe when the Bible says hold it in your heart, you have it on the inside of you so that you can remember it, respect it. It's not like something that you just know. It's on the inside of you. See? Because with it, the right decisions will be made. They'll be made through self-control, through application. Yeah. So we're going down to verses 3 and 4. Let love and faithfulness never leave you. Bind them around your neck. Write them on the tablet of your heart. Then you will win favor and good name in the sight of God and man. God favors wisdom because without him, there is no wisdom. You see, he created wisdom. He created the law. He created what is right and wrong. So when you obtain wisdom, you're obtaining the knowledge that he put forth into the earth. Otherwise, you're acting foolishly. All right. You have to have emotional self-control in order to apply wisdom. So he favors that. He favors the fact that you take time out to search for knowledge and to learn and be humble enough to apply it. And plus, people look up to it. You know what I mean? Like, if there's like a really wise person, who does everybody go to? If somebody gives them wise answers to their problems, who do they go to? People don't look up to a fool. Like, the fool might get popular. The fool might have a good time out there. You know, he might have the best time of his life because he's foolish and entertaining. But as soon as something happens, who do they go to? They go to the person they look up to. They go to the person who has some form of wisdom. And I believe that is what verse 3 and 4 is referring to. Let's move down to verse 5 and 6. Trust in the Lord with all your heart and lean not on your own understanding. In all your ways submit to him and he will make your path straight. Or in the King James Version, it says, trust in the Lord with all thine heart and lean not unto thine own understanding. In all thy ways acknowledge him and he will direct thy paths. I actually like that better because in NIV it says he'll make your path straight, right? But in the King James it says he will direct your path. And I really like the idea of him directing my path rather than making it straight. I do understand what the NIV is saying, like, okay, he'll make my path straight and narrow, he'll make it better. But in the King James, he said he'll direct my path. And I would rather God direct my path. You know what I mean? I'd rather him put me on the path that he wants me to be on. So I do like the King James version for 3, 5 through 6 because I want him to direct my path. You know, I like the wording of that better. What I have in my notes for verses 5 and 6 is trust in God, not yourself. Put God first and acknowledge him, and he will direct your paths. So basically, when you're acknowledging wisdom and God's law, you're making wise decisions. You're making wise choices. You want your faith to be in God. So you want to acknowledge him first. You want to put God first. I know a lot of people will like pray as soon as something bad happens. Let's look at that in a human standpoint, okay? Say, for example, you have a friend, right? And that friend only comes to you when they need something, right? And then every time they are fulfilled, every time you gave them what they needed, they just leave. Wouldn't you feel kind of disrespected? I mean, really, wouldn't you feel disrespected? Okay, let's just sit and knock on the door, okay? Hi, I need help. I need a ride home, okay? And you're like, sure, I could drive you home. You drive them home, never hear from them. Hi, I need $20. Okay, I'll give you $20. You give them $20, never hear from them. You call them, they don't answer. They're not there. When you feel used and disrespected, like God wants a relationship with us. He doesn't want us to look at him like a genie. All right. He doesn't want us to look at him like, oh, I only come to you when I need something, because technically we're just using him. And that is so disrespectful. Like that's so rude. You know what I mean? When you only go to God when you need something. So you really want to acknowledge him first and put him in all your ways. We need to trust God and put him first. And That's verse 5 and 6, so that he can direct our path, because we'll be following and leaning on him. So let's move on down to verse 7 and 8. Do not be wise in your own eyes. Fear the Lord and shun evil. This will bring health to your body and nourishment to your bones. This is my notes. Do not be prideful or trust in your own judgment. Because you are human, you are limited. You only see or learn through your own eyes. And you see through the eyes of your past mistakes and your past experiences. That really shows how limited we are, right? We're literally just breath. Okay, we're just like a mist in the air, all right? The only knowledge that we have right now is through our experiences and the things that we learned in the past, our past mistakes. That's the only knowledge we have. Like, that really limits us from everything. You know, we can only base life on our past experience, and we don't know what we haven't known of. We can always obtain new information, but as long as we never see it, never hear it, never know it, we know nothing about it. Versus a God who's almighty, who's omnipresent, who's everywhere, and knows everything that there is to know before we even learn it. Which is why we should not be prideful in our own eyes and trust our own judgment. Which is why we can't be wise in our own eyes. Because if you are wise in your own eyes, that brings pride. And that pride will cause you to fall. Because you're going to begin to over-trust yourself to the point where you can fall right off a cliff. Meaning that the people who are extremely arrogant, they always slip. Arrogance never lasts. That person always learns a lesson. You do not want to be arrogant. So with wisdom, you have to be humble, because being wise would tell you that you need to be humble. You see, with humble comes wisdom, because you're willing to learn. You're willing to allow God to lead you. You're willing to add on to your wisdom. You're willing to learn more and more and more and become more wise, because you realize that, hey, I'm not the smartest person on earth. I'm not wise in my own eyes. And I know that there's always room for improvement. And so it's good not to be wise in your own eyes. Like I said, in my notes, I said, God holds all wisdom because he created it. Let's let that sink in. He holds wisdom because he created it. We need to rely on the person who is in charge of all this, okay? The person who knows the paths that we're taking, the person who knows what the other people said about you, the person who knows the intentions of others and the things that will happen in the future and blah, blah, blah. That's who we need to put our trust in, because it'll be absurd for us to rely on ourselves when we are so limited in understanding. When the soul is at peace, the body is at peace. That's one of my notes. When the soul's at peace, the body's at peace. Verse 8 says, this will bring health to your body and nourishment to your bones. You want to shun all evil. The wages of sin is death. Like, there's a lot of bad parts about sin. The entire sin is bad. But the way that sin works is it gives you a little happiness just for you to drop down. It's like it kind of tricks you into having like a little bit of fun and happiness, but it always ends in something bad. It's never going to fulfill you. It'll never lead you to anything good. There's always going to be death in sin, whether it's literal death or whether it's death in your soul, or whether you die on the inside, because sin will never give you life. And so we want to shun evil. And if you are not wise in your own eyes and you listen to God and shun evil, you will have peace inside of yourself. And that is so true. If you have an intimate relationship with God, not just I grew up in church and I know him, not that, but if you have an intimate relationship with God where you miss him when you haven't prayed in a long time, you'll know the peace that comes into your body when you have full trust in God. So let's move down to 9 and 10. Honor the Lord with your wealth, with the first fruits of your crop. Then your barns will be filled to overflowing, and your vats will brim over the new wine. I believe that verse 9 and 10 is talking about giving God the first of your labor, like paying tithes. Honor God with all that you do. And the first fruits, which is the best fruits, the first thing that you get, you want to give to God. That's your humbleness. That's how much you're sacrificing for God. It deepens your relationship. And God will bless your giving. Like, God will really bless your diligence. So let's move down to verse 11 and 12. My son, do not despise the Lord's discipline. Do not resent his rebuke, because the Lord disciplines those he loves. As a father, the son he delights in. I believe that this relates back to being humble. Because you're being willing to learn through God's discipline. Say, for example, you have someone that you love, all right? And you love this person so much. If you knew that if they walked around the corner, they were going to be mugged and killed, would you let that happen? I hope the answer is no. God allows us to be disciplined. He disciplines his children so that we can make the right decisions in life, so that we can stay on so that he can direct our paths. Because if he did not discipline us, how would he direct our paths? Our paths, like, we have to learn, okay? So he disciplines us, and I feel like deeply it humbles us. You know, like when you're being disciplined, that's humbling. You have to be humble to learn from discipline. And with wisdom, like I said earlier, with wisdom, you'll know the importance of being humble. Because when you're humble, you're able to learn. You have to be willing to be disciplined. You cannot hate God's discipline, because he disciplines those he loves. So I want to make sure that nobody misunderstands this and thinks an abusive relationship, like I'm hitting you because I love you. I've heard of that before. As a psychology major, we learned about people who were hit and abused because the person said, I just love you so much and I'm going to hit. It's not like that. God's discipline is not an abusive relationship, but it's a loving relationship. Similar to my prior example, if you thought that your friend that you loved so much was going to die, would you let them? You would be like, no, like, what are you doing? See, you would not allow them to do that. See what I'm saying? Okay, the next verses are 13 through 18. Blessed are those who find wisdom, those who gain understanding, for she is more profitable than silver, yields better return than gold. She is more precious than rubies. Nothing more desirable can compare with her. Long life is in her right hand. In her left hand are riches and honor. Her ways are pleasant ways, and all her paths are peace. She is a tree of life to those who take hold of her. Those who hold her fast will be blessed. That sounds like a definition of wisdom. He's referring to wisdom as a she. I believe there's a metaphorical meaning to this. Females are life givers. And with wisdom, you're giving life to others, and you're giving wisdom and meaning, and you're teaching people. I believe that he's using the word she, he's using the pronoun she, to translate wisdom, because she's a life giver. She's wisdom. And he's also defining what wisdom is. Wisdom is peaceful, wisdom is pleasant, wisdom is valuable. He talks about that when he says more profitable than gold, silver, and rubies. Wisdom is powerful, and wisdom is blessed. So we're going to move down to verses 19 and 20. By wisdom the Lord laid the earth's foundation. By understanding he set the heavens in place. By his knowledge the watery depths are divided, and the clouds let drop the dew. He's discussing the complexities of this incredible earth. Like, the earth is just absolutely stunning. Like, think about out the earth. The trees are living, and it's pretty insane. Like, you see, I'm always in the woods, okay? Like, there's water that comes from the clouds, but the clouds are like a mist, and we can get an airplane and fly through the clouds, but they can hold water, so much water that it can flood, and then these birds lay eggs made of calcium. The fact that we have billions of cells on the inside of our bodies that know how to attack viruses. Our cells know how to take the nourishment out of food. Like, look how amazing that is. And by wisdom, God made the earth. It really shows you how powerful and mighty wisdom is. Like, when you hold wisdom, it really shows how great it is. I have God created the earth with wisdom, which displays the power and beauty of wisdom and shows the wonders of application, but also the splendor of self-control. And in my notes, I'm showing that God used self-control, because he is self-control. God used self-control to create the earth, and he used wisdom to create the earth, because if he didn't have self-control, how would he apply the wisdom to create the earth? It shows the importance of self-control. I feel like Proverbs 3 underlines the importance of self-control, because without it, you would not be able to apply the power of wisdom. And it really shows how powerful wisdom is when you think, okay, well, God created the earth with it. Like, that's pretty insane, okay? Now I'm going to go through verse 21 and verse 26. My son, do not let wisdom and understanding out of your sight. Preserve sound judgment and discretion. They will be life for you, an ornament to grace your neck. Then you will go on your way to safety, and your foot will not stumble. When you lie down, you will not be afraid. When you lie down, your sleep will be sweet. Have no fear of sudden disaster or of the ruin that overtakes the wicked. For the Lord will be at your side and will keep your foot from being snared. Oh, honey. So, do not let wisdom and understanding out of your sight. Preserve sound judgment and discretion. This really relates back to the first thing he said when he said, my son, do not forget my teaching and keep my commandments in your heart. Do not let wisdom and understanding out of your sight. Preserve sound judgment and discretion. You want to keep it. You need to keep it. Like we talked about on the inside. You want to keep wisdom and remember it. You don't want it to ever leave your sight and start acting unwisely, if that's a word. With wisdom, you'll be safe. God favors it. It already talked about God favors wisdom. Your sleep will be sweet. With wisdom, you will put your trust in God. You will have no fear of sudden disaster that overtakes you. And the Lord will be by your side to keep your foot from being snared. A snare is a trap. So the Lord will be by your side to stop you from being trapped. Like I said, we want to put our trust in God. My notes says there is a cause and effect. This is what I noticed when I was taking notes. The cause is, my son, do not let wisdom and understanding out of your sight. Preserve sound judgment and discretion. That's verse 21. So with wisdom and understanding preserves judgment and discretion. That's the cause. Now the effect from that cause, the effect from wisdom and understanding is you will have safety, you will be covered, you have courage, you'll have fearlessness, and it will bring you life. Down to verses 27 through 30. Do not withhold good from those whom it is due, when it is in your power to act. Do not say to your neighbor, come back tomorrow and I'll give it to you, when you already have it with you. Do not plot harm against your neighbor who lives trustfully near you. Do not accuse anyone for no reason when they have done you no harm. So verses 27 through 30, they talk about sharing wisdom obviously. They talk about sharing wisdom and don't hesitate to teach and give wisdom to others. Sometimes I read on Instagram, it said sometimes people knowledge guard or guard knowledge, meaning that I want to be the only smart one. That makes you so selfish. I want to be the only one who knows this, so I don't want to tell you, because then you're going to know it too and it's going to make me less awesome. But it doesn't work like that. We're here to spread knowledge, and this could go back to when he said that wisdom is she, because it's life-giving. We need to spread knowledge, okay? So he's saying, don't say come back tomorrow and I'll give it to you when you already have it. Don't try and withhold knowledge from other people. Give knowledge, give wisdom, teach wisdom to those who seek it. Now keep in mind, he said, do not withhold good from those to whom it is due time. You don't want to push knowledge on people who don't want it. It's a waste of time. Not only will they not listen, but they will misunderstand. When it is somebody's due time for knowledge, when they want to hear your knowledge, give it to them. And for you to withhold it is very selfish. Like why would you want to do that? Would you want somebody to withhold it from you if you needed it? That's one thing about the world. You always have to give people examples of how it would affect them for them to understand it. I feel like nobody cares really about other people. You have to like give it to them, like, how would you feel if somebody did that to you? And you're like, oh. You know, like it really shows where we're at. But teach and give wisdom. Do not harm others. No love is in hate. Okay. So it's saying do not harm others for no reason, because that would be unwise. Suppose somebody harmed you for no reason. Like, how would you feel about that? Like, that would be really bad. Like, suppose somebody was like harming you for no reason. Like, why? You know, like, why would you go out of your way? All the things you could be doing. You could be obtaining more wisdom. You could be building a close relationship with God. You could be working towards a goal of yours. You could be doing all these things, but you're wasting the time. God gave us a limited amount of time. You're wasting the time that you have to harm other people for no reason. How did that benefit you? In the long run, how did it benefit you? You're doing something to someone who doesn't belong to you. Every person on this earth belongs to God. Now, they might not choose God, but we all belong to God. Everything on the earth belongs to God. And you are going to put harm against something that belongs to God? Okay. Verse 31, do not envy the violent or choose any of their ways. Really, verse 27 through 31 just talks about all the things not to do. Like, for example, you don't want to envy the evil. You don't want to do harm to people, because there is no love in hate. There's no love in that. And God is love. So if there's no love in doing bad to people, what are you doing? If God is love and you're sending out hate, who are you serving? What are you living for? Not why are you living, but what are you serving in your life that you're not doing something of God? Who are you serving? See what I'm saying? What you doing? Okay? I think you're serving something that's demonic and satanic if you're sending out hate for no reason. Like, you're sending out hate at all, because there's no God in hate. So do not envy, because envy's wrong. If you look at my video about envy, you'll find out that envy is also a huge waste of time. All right, so check out that video. And the last verses are verse 32 through 35. For the Lord detests the perverse, but takes the upright into his confidence. The Lord's curse is on the house of the wicked, but he blesses the home of the righteous. He mocks proud mockers, but shows favor to the humble and oppressed. The wise inherit honor, but fools get only shame. When a person acts foolish, embarrassment comes right after it. Or they'll look back on it and be embarrassed or regret it. If you're foolish and you're not obtaining wisdom and using wisdom, you'll start getting a pile of regrets that God is trying to save you from because he loves you. Why am I losing my voice? This is a problem. The Lord detests the perverse. The Lord's curse is on the house of the wicked. Now, I've befriended atheists in my college, and a lot of them feel like, well, if God truly loves people, then why does he hate people who choose wickedly? Well, God hates the spirit on the inside of that person. Keep in mind, they're not only rejecting him, but they're choosing to live unwisely. And when you look at sins like envy, and if you look at my video, you'll see that envy is a waste of time. If you look at plotting harm against your neighbor, things like that, if you look at accusing somebody who did not harm you, those things are very wicked. Those things God does not like. So God is saying, okay, if you're wicked, I'm going to have to abhor this because there's no wicked on the inside of me. I'm love. And if you're showing hate to other people, you got to go. You understand? So God's separating the wheat from the tare, the good from the bad. He cannot have wicked in his presence. You can't have both love and hate. If you understand the grand narrative of the Bible, which is God's redemption for humanity, he wants humanity to have an intimate relationship with him like he did in Genesis in the beginning when he had a relationship with Adam and Eve. If you want that with God and you hate other people and you're doing bad to others, you're going to cause so much trouble in that relationship with God. So God has to get rid of the wicked so that he can have a pure relationship with the good. I put, blessed are those who seek wisdom and blessed are those who seek God. Because when you seek God, you seek justice, you seek peacefulness, you are powerful, you're valuable, you seek wisdom and understanding. When you seek God, you'll have long life, peace, and prosperity. And we talked about that earlier in the video. I also put in my notes, blessed are those who seeks wisdom. Blessed are those who seeks God, because God created wisdom. So if you seek God, you go and get wisdom. Okay. And throughout this Bible study, we talked about the importance of seeking wisdom and the importance of seeking God. So it concludes with, this is why you do everything we just got talking about. You see what I'm saying? God abhors the wicked. He mocks the mockers. He favors those who are humble, and you need to be humble in order to do all the things like we already talked about. And the wise inherit honor, but fools inherit shame. The wiser will be honored, smart decisions, knowing how to learn from others, and the fools will be embarrassed and regretful. So yeah, that's Proverbs 3, guys. I hope I was able to offer you some form of wisdom. I hope you guys have an amazing, fantastic, brilliant, just awesome day, because you are fearfully and wonderfully made, okay? Fearfully as respectfully. And I hope you guys really enjoyed Bible study. This is like, I'm really studying Psalms, so we're kind of learning together, okay? But I hope you guys enjoyed. Please like and subscribe for the YouTube algorithm, and I will see you on Thursday. Bye.